Hey, it's Zach, and I'm back with another episode of Elevate and Accelerate. And in this episode, I want to talk to you again about how embracing your story allows you to unlock your true potential. But even more than that, I want to talk to you about how embracing your story also allows you to understand how to help other people, especially on your team, embrace their story as well. And when you do that, you can also unlock their true potential. Get them to buy into your vision, your mission, your passion, and where you want to drive your business, and help them to see how their unique skills and their story actually allow them to be able to be a part of that story as well. And so you get a deeper level of buy-in, of trust, and of production ultimately from your team members. And so let's talk more about what that looks like. Now, let me ask you this question. How often do you look back at your journey and feel like there's parts of it that should just be left behind? The mistakes, the struggles, the moments you're not proud of. Look, I know that feeling. And for years, I carried around the shame and the sense of unworthiness around my own story. I thought if people really knew what I've been through or who I was, if they really saw me for that person underneath, then would they really respect me? Would they even accept me? And that controlled me for a really long time. But here's the thing, our stories aren't the chains that are holding us back. They're the keys to our freedom. When I finally embraced my story, and I mean when I fully embraced it, that's when everything changed. It was like flipping a switch. I went from feeling stuck and not knowing where I was going or who I was, feeling small compared to other people, to becoming a best-selling author, a speaker, and now a coach helping other people to transform their lives and their businesses as well. And the irony of all of it, it's the very parts of my story that I used to hide that have become the most powerful tools to connect with others. Here's why this matters for you. When you own your story, you own your power. Again, when you own your story, you own your power. You see, your story isn't just a history lesson, it's a roadmap for others who need what only you can offer. And it's a roadmap for you to understand where you've been, how you've gotten to where you are, and to fully align with where you want to go. And when you do that, you can really unlock and reach your fullest potential. When you are aligned with your values, with your mission, and with your vision, and when all the decisions and things that you do are moving and rowing in that direction, and when you can bring your team and other people along with you for that journey, your ability to be able to create success not only in your life, but in the lives of your clients and in your team members becomes exponential. I mean, think about it. Your setbacks, your triumphs, the lessons you learned, they're all a part of this unique value that you can bring to the world. And in your ability to be able to understand your story and go through that process as a leader allows you then to be able to not only chart the course for you and your team and your business, but it also allows you to help develop and chart the course for each of your team members. You can lead them to greater levels of success, again, whether that's within your business or outside of it. But you can know that when you take the time to dive into who they are and to help them to understand who they are and to become aligned with where they want to go by embracing their story and seeing how their story intertwines with yours and the story of your business, allows them to reach their fullest potential, to work more productively, to feel like they're giving with their greatest superpower, moving in that direction that you want to. And when the time comes, if the time comes where they want to pursue other things, they can do that as well. And you can send them off with a great blessing. So, how do you do this? How do you start to really embrace your story? Well, I can break it down into really three simple steps. And I've talked about all of these before, but here they are. Shift your mindset, find your voice, and share boldly. You see, when you shift your mindset, instead of seeing your story as something that you need to overcome and start seeing it as your unique superpower, that's the very moment that everything that you're afraid of, afraid to share, afraid for the world to see, is really what's going to become the most powerful tool. I'm a man of faith and I went through seminary, and one of the things they talk about is how it's in your weaknesses that your greatest strength lies. Right? And so the truth is that where you are weakest and where you can embrace those things where you are weakest, you allow yourself to build a greater strength. and to show the world your vulnerable side where you can build trust and credibility. Now, as you can reframe your story again into this source of strength and purpose, you can shift your mindset from being one who is controlled by the stories that we cannot control to someone who's in control of the story that's written into the future. This is what I call the story mindset. There's really three primary stories that impact our lives: the stories of our past, the stories that others tell us and put on us, and the stories that we tell ourselves. And each one of those can be a story that holds us back from our greatest potential. We're not good enough. We're not worthy enough. We're not capable enough. We're not smart enough. We're not talented enough. We don't have enough experience, whatever it might be that others are telling us or that we told ourselves, or perhaps even in the past. I don't deserve to have that because I shouldn't have this because whatever it might be. When you can see those stories as your limiting beliefs, as you've heard before, and then start to reframe those as who they've made you today, your resilience, your strength, your perspective, the way in which you handle situations and have been able to overcome those obstacles and are still sitting here listening to this podcast or watching this episode on YouTube today. The reason why you can do that is because of who you are, and you can share that knowledge with somebody else. And it also has impacted why you started the business that you started and the mission that you're on, and why you serve your clients the way that you serve your clients. And so when you can reframe those stories, it turns you into the author of your own story. And the more that you embrace that, and the more that you understand your values and your core values, and the more that you create a business around those values and lead teams around those values, and everything is aligned with who you are and what you want to accomplish, the more strength that you have, the more power your purpose has, and the more ability that you have to be able to attract more and more of your ideal clients, get those team members excited and passionate about what you're doing, and all contributing to that purpose to make a greater impact in whatever way that might be. And so again, it comes back to that first step of shifting your mindset and not seeing your story as something you need to overcome, but seeing it as your superpower to embrace. Next is finding your voice, right? You need to get clear on what your story means to you. You have to really understand what happened at that pivotal moment where you decided to do things differently, right? You've got to write about it. You've got to share it, as we talk about next, and sharing it boldly, but share it with a trusted friend. Reflect on it. The goal is to uncover those themes that matter most to you, the lessons, the values, the moments that really define your journey, and then speaking about those. In there, you will find your voice. You will find your unique passion, your purpose, the thing that you want to contribute to this world, right? On whatever scale that may be. Perhaps it's just within your family or friend circles. Maybe it's bigger than that. Whatever it is, you have a voice and you should be using it. Now, step 3 is to share boldly, whether this is through social media, blogs, conversations with clients, on your website, in media, whatever it may be. You need to figure out how to share your story in a way that is and feels authentic. A lot of times what happens is when we try to share our story, it's much like when we try to share a dream with somebody. We have this visual aspect, the feelings that are coming up inside of us. We can picture the moments of our story, just like we can picture the moments of our dream. And so then when we try to articulate that to somebody else, they're looking at us a little cross-eyed and wondering, what in the world is it that you are talking about? And so finding your voice and sharing your story takes practice, but you've got to do it. And it's the first step that's always the hardest. But the more about sharing your story, again, it's not about having that perfect narrative. It's all about just being real. Vulnerability is what connects, and authenticity is what inspires. So as entrepreneurs and leaders, we often focus too much on building our brands and scaling our businesses and hitting these goals that we forget that the most powerful tool that we have really is ourselves. And it's your story that can bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to go. It's also the bridge that will inspire others to follow you and to be a part of that story. Think about it. When you think about some of these amazing organizations and nonprofits that are out there, or people that have just really inspirational and powerful stories, it's because they shared it. And it's aspects of their story or what they're doing or trying to accomplish, whether that's, freeing kids from sex trafficking and giving them support in a life that they probably otherwise wouldn't have, or helping people in poverty, or whatever it might be, right? We can hear those stories and we see those stories, and we find within ourselves that own level of inspiration and excitement that there's a mission out there, and we want to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, right? Helping veterans to transition out of military life into civilian life, or treating PTSD and some of the things that they battle with as well. All of those things are exciting, and we get to hear those stories, and so we want to be more and more a part of it because we connect with the story that's being told. Well, the same thing's true for you and your business as a leader. It's the bridge, it's the gap, and it's the bridge to the gap. And so, in your ability to not only share your story and to bridge that gap to your clients and to your team members, as a leader, you can help your team members do the same thing and understand what it is that they can contribute to your business as a part of their own story and the strengths that they bring, but also what they can do to impact the lives of the people that are around them outside of the business as well. And so they get to achieve greater levels of success professionally and personally. So that's really it for today. As a recap, again, if you want to share your story and you're really thinking about how to embrace it and what you need to do in order to do that, you got to shift your mindset and see it as a really powerful tool that you have, and the one thing that can really set you apart from your competition. You've got to be able to find your voice, and you need to be able to share it boldly and authentically. Again, not perfectly, but authentically. It's all about being real. So keep it real. And until next time, keep elevating and accelerate. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it inspires you to lean into your story and use it as a catalyst for your growth and to help your teams grow as well. As always, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a review, and I'm always here to help. So feel free to reach out if you want to know more about how to embrace your story and even write your story. So until next time, again, keep elevating and accelerating. Cheers.